Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to The Statement Show with Zach and Terry. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
From the Night Shift Crew Studios in the D.C. metro area, this is The Statement Show. The lights are on.
Hey guys, it's Ivana Kadabra.
Hey guys, this is Brie Olson.
You know what's your name, man? Dan Drost.
I'm Jim Harold from the Paranormal Podcast.
Hi, this is Zach Ward, otherwise known as the legendary Scott Farkas.
This is Jackie Joy, and you are listening to the hottest podcast around, The Statement Show, with Terry James and Zach Jakey.
Welcome back to another edition of The Statement Show. I'm Terry James.
And I'm Zach Chahy, and we're the podcast that fits the no category. And what a way to bring in the new year with the Statement Show guest Kurt Angle. 1996 Olympic gold medalist, multiple WWE and TNA championship wins. Kurt has acted in movie and television events as well as promoting charitable organizations. We welcome Kurt Angle to the Statement Show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Great honor to have you on here, Mr. Angle. Or we'll just call you Kurt.
That's fine. Kurt's fine.
I got to say, you
make me sound older than I am.
I got to say, you're one of my top 3 all-time favorite wrestlers.
Wow. You know, usually they just say you're my favorite.
No. I mean, you made at least the 3rd. No, I got to say,
number 1, Zach.
No, I definitely. So I'm just going to throw this out there right now because I'm going to get my own fan stuff out of the way first. Bret Hart was always my favorite until you started wrestling, and then I just you bring something extra to the table, and the humor you brought to it. I mean, you were just fantastic in the ring. When you left the WWE, I stopped watching. So,
well, you know, Brett was my favorite too. Him and Ric Flair. I got a lot out of watching him. I never watched wrestling until I signed with WWE in 1999. So I had a lot of work cut out for me. But I loved the way that Ric Flair was able to entertain, and not just a great wrestler, but a great entertainer. I don't put him and Bret Hart in the same category. I think Bret was more of an incredible wrestler. You know, he got in that ring and he did it better than anybody else. But all around, I thought that Ric Flair was the most versatile wrestler I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing that, you know, that was just kind of something Zach and I were just talking about. You kind of have that combination. Obviously were an amazing wrestler, but you had the showmanship kind of a lot like, I mean, you know, no offense to The Rock. The Rock was a great showman, but his moves were meh. You know, you had the technical well-being to do everything. And just, oh my goodness, your showmanship was just crazy. It's funny because I was watching a YouTube clip the other night with the one with you and The Undertaker, where you had the little moped and you brought that down, and I was cracking up. I love that. I loved how you did that. You really just.
It was a lot of fun back then. You're right. We had a lot more leeway back then. I wish we were the same today. You know, today they gear more for kids, but back then we were trying to zone in on the young adults, and it worked extremely well. And we had there was a plethora of talent. Just the whole squad meant something. You know, the Godfather would come out at the beginning of the show with his hose, and Val Venus would be next. Obviously the porn star.
Right.
And then, you know, you had Crash Holly, Bob Holly. You had Chris Jericho, Benoit, Undertaker, myself. It just went on and on. I haven't seen a roster like that, even though I think the talent today is pretty damn close. So
it's good.
You know, it's good. Just a different time. Yeah.
Right before we get into any more wrestling questions, obviously we want to talk about your app and the AngleStrong app. But I've actually lived in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, for a little while my brother was going to Pitt, and he actually wanted me to mention the fact that he had met you once at the gym in Greensburg, and you offered to take him out to your you had a Jeep Cherokee at the time. I want to say this is 96, 97, some time frame. And you gave him an autographed poster, and apparently you were promoting ostrich meat at the time.
Yeah, I remember your brother.
So
I remember doing that. I was out there visiting a girlfriend, and I used to train out there every once in a while. I do remember that day.
Yeah, I had worked out at that gym. It's about the only good gym in the area at that time, but big track out front. Yeah. But yeah, that's like one of that's one of his shining moments meeting you. He's always brought that up to me. So, and I had a hard time believing him because come on, Kurt Angle, really?
Yeah, but you could be Kurt Angle.
He had talked about some of the football players out there who mentioned how they heard you training on one of the hills, a tree. Something tree. I can't remember exactly where. It's a green tree. Is that right? You used to carry somebody up a hill or something like that when you were training.
Yeah, a lot. I used to do it 50 times a day. It was about 180 yards. And I used to go up a steep hill with my training partner on my back. It was. I did a lot of training. It had to do with getting exhausted because. I did a method called exhaust training where you train to where you couldn't stand, and that's when it began. What that enabled you to do, although nobody likes being tired, but it enabled me to think straight while I was ready to fall. Like, my mind was telling me I still had more left in the tank, even though I didn't. So, mentally, it really helped me, outcondition my opponents. And I learned that from Dan Gable in Iowa. I went out there to train for 3.5 weeks. Which I never did it again because his training is borderline abuse. It's to the point where a lot of wrestlers, most likely, if you're not an Iowa wrestler and you're not used to it, you're gonna get hurt because he's gonna train you till you can't stand anymore. You're gonna throw up, you're gonna get sick, and he's gonna want you to continue to train. Learning that from Dan Gable, I took 80% of that and put it to my playbook. The rest of it, I didn't want anything to do with. I'm not an Iowa wrestler. I'm not a headbanger, hand fighter. I'm more of a finesse wrestler. So, I knew that I did not want to go there, but I also knew that it'd be good for me to train there.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and to be honest with you, Kurt, I mean, obviously everyone knows you from wrestling and the questions have been absolutely pouring in for you. And we're going to save them for a little bit later in the show, especially the one that everyone wants to know. And that's if you're coming back to the WWE, and we're going to hold off on that one. We're going to make them wait a little bit.
He's never heard that question before.
Yeah. He's never heard that one. But before we do
the whole show.
That's right. That's right. But Kurt is here to talk with us about his AngleStrong app that helps others battling addiction. Kurt, tell us a little bit about your app, man.
Well, to begin with, I went to rehab about 4 years ago and I got clean. I had a serious painkiller problem, and it came to the second time I broke my neck. It was the first time I broke in WWE in 2003, and I was introduced to painkillers. And when the first one I took, I was hooked. And when that didn't work, it went to 2 went to 4 went to 8. Before I knew it, I'd say within 4 to 5 months, I was up to 65 extra strength Vicodin a day. I was out of control. I was hiding it pretty well. The WWE didn't really know how much I was taking. They knew I was taking something, because of my injuries. But, back then they weren't really drug testing. So, I was able to get away with it without getting hit for, any penalty for taking something that wasn't, what WWE would not allow you to take. Obviously not having a drug, they don't have the drug program. Back then they didn't have it like they do now. And now they're covering everything. So they got all their corners covered now. But, I just felt like when I got clean, I noticed nobody was really talking about their addiction. Everybody kept it quiet. You're also taught in rehab to keep it quiet. Go to do your 12-step, go to your AA meetings, don't involve anyone else. And it really wasn't helping anybody. It just got worse and worse. I mean, in 2014, there were over 23,000 opioid deaths. In 2015, over 30,000. There are 78 Americans die each day from opioids, and 21 million in America have a drug disorder. 10% of that 21 million, that's only 2 million get treatment. And 5% of that 10%, which is a half of 1%, stay clean in recovery. So you have 21 million addicts out there, and only less than 1% are staying clean. This is the worst epidemic in U.S. history. It even hits kids 12 to 17. 3 million kids have a drug disorder at 12 to 17 years of age. They were taking opioids. So this is something that I knew I wanted to come forward with something, and I wanted to try to start helping people to beat this epidemic. It's going to be a long road, but the AngleStrong app is going to be going live on 1/15/2017, and I'm really excited about it. It's this app was created by Dr. Jonas and the Sober Network, and I teamed up with him, and we've decided that we're gonna take this to the masses.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, Kirk. This issue, it's something that's very near and dear to my heart. I lost an uncle last year, and many other friends in the past due to addictions. The unfortunate part is we tend to focus on heroin or cocaine, and obviously for good reason. The heroin, epidemic has been, it's huge, major in the United States and now going across the world. But as you stated, the raw facts are prescription painkillers are really killing more people than heroin and cocaine combined. And that's scary. That's very scary.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's about time that someone did something about it. I have never heard of a celebrity coming out and talking openly about it. I did talk to some celebrities after I went to rehab, and they've been talking. Just keep it quiet, do your own thing, and I just felt like I'm too outspoken to do that. Mm-hmm. I need to help other people, better their lives, and this is what I'm doing now. This is my number one priority, above wrestling. So this is the one thing that I'm going to do probably for the rest of my life. And I just hope that I can help more and more people and save more lives.
Well, that's a great thing, because most of us, we can do things, general people like Zach and myself, we can do things and no one would ever notice. But someone like yourself, who's a very public figure, when you're charged with the DUIs and checking into rehab and things like, unfortunately, you are under the microscope. And we as men, we tend to have that macho, I don't have to tell anybody. I'm too manly to admit my addiction or my fear or whatever. Yeah. But in a very strange way, Kirk, you can be the voice for a lot of people. And I really believe this app can help turn people around. I really do.
Well, definitely.
I loved everything about it.
Turning very negative situations into a very positive situation. And that's something very admirable. I like that. So, you said it goes live on the 15th of this month?
Yeah, we're ahead of schedule, but we're going to launch it on the 15th of January. Our website will be going live next week, AngleStrong.com. We're basically the new addiction recovery aftercare. We're gonna take care of you. We're gonna monitor you. This app is incredible. I mean, the Dr. Jonas did an amazing job with this thing. I mean, this isn't just for the patient. Now, patients, studies have shown that patients usually relapse. For 99% of the time they relapse is when they are isolated. We want families involved in this. We want to get loved ones, sponsors, families involved, so that they can have some form of contact without being overbearing. We don't want to crowd or smother the recovering addict, but we want someone to be there to know they're going to be okay. This app is GPS enabled, so in case of an emergency, we can get to you. The family, we call it the lifeline. If you don't check in daily, your family's notified. So as long as you're checking in, you're doing the things that we tell you to do on the app. And there are many things that this app does. The family will know that you're at least safe. And I think that's the most important thing.
You're right. That was actually when I was looking through the pamphlet there for the AngleStrong app. That was the one thing that stuck out to me the most, was the push notification. I love that aspect of it, where the loved ones and the care managers, they're notified, when the user neglects to complete their check-ins. I think that is so amazing. That really could help save a lot of people.
And I went to rehab, and I did the 12-step program. I love the 12-step, but that's not for everyone. This app isn't just for the 12-step. It's for everybody. A lot of people don't like the 12-step, and whether it has to do with your belief in God, or if it's, the things that you have to do in the 12 steps. This is more of a positive message program. It's not that things will be difficult. Things are going to be harder for a while. It's more of, start your new life, start it positive. No more being difficult for a while. It's about positivity. Your life will get so much better and full of promise. It's about embracing your new life and having fun with it. And it's okay to talk about your addiction if it helps. That's where we have been so quiet about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. So, if you open up, you're able to at least talk about it and get it off your chest and talk about the things that are bothering you. And I think that's the one thing we can do with this app is we can be your counselor. You know, this app is going to be $1 a day. That sounds pricey, $365 a year, but compared to counseling or going back to rehab, or especially if your insurance doesn't cover all of it, this is really cheap. So this is your aftercare, and this is what we're going to do. And everybody on my team is committed 100%. We're actually we're not only doing the things that the app does, but we're going to be sending you positive daily messages. I'm going to have a monthly Skype call with everybody, every member of AngleStrong. You can go on the chat line and talk to other recovering addicts. This is only for the AngleStrong app user. This won't be open for the public. It's anybody that signs up for the app.
That is fantastic. And when like Zach and I were talking off the air, you know, with the prescription painkillers, they're so readily available. For instance, I'll give you an example, Kirk. I was actually at the dentist. I had a tooth pulled. And instead of them writing out something for, you know, some Tylenol or just saying, hey, you know, you'll be fine in a couple hours, they were ready to give me Vicodin or Percocet or something like that.
Give you the good stuff, right?
Not even asking. Yeah, not even asking for it.
They said, well, that was the funny part, Zach, because when they wrote the prescription out, they just handed it to me, said, we wrote this out, here you go. You know, I actually looked at him and said, I don't want it, because I know the kind of person that I am. Well, that's just it, Kirk, because I'm a very, when I do something, I go all in. That's the unfortunate aspect. And whether that's, you know, if it's work, that's a great thing. But when it's, you know, drugs or alcohol, that could be a real bad
thing. And it could be
exactly right.
Thing. I'm the same way. And you're absolutely right. You know, the crazy thing about in 2016, U.S. doctors prescribed narcotic painkillers. 99% of the ones they handed out were exceed the federally recommended 3 days dosage limit. So they're handing out more than they're supposed to, and it's just making the epidemic worse.
It really is, you know. And I'm a firm believer that you have to hit rock bottom, you know, before you actually start rebuilding yourself, you know. And I know sometimes, unfortunately, people kind of. They do, you know, but the good part for you recognize that, but sometimes people, you know, they lose their friends, they lose their family, their homes, their cars and all that. And that's when they figure it out. Did you have a rock bottom that you had to hit before you knew that it was time to get straight?
Well, I was still in denial when I went to rehab. I only went to help with my DUI case. But when I got there, I learned so much about my disease. The fact is, I had 4 DUIs in 5 years. I was out of control. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought that, you know, let me go to rehab, and the judge will hear about it, and maybe he'll, you know, drop my sentence to reckless driving. It was just, as an addict, you are in denial. You don't want to admit that you have a serious problem. I had a serious problem for a good, I'd say 10 years. And, I had to do something about it, and I'm glad I did. I never would have done it unless, Dixie Carter, after my 4th DUI offense, she's like, listen, you might want to go to rehab. And I was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right, Dixie, because that'll help my DUI case. That's what I thought, you know, and, I was in absolute denial. But when I got there, I looked around, I saw the other people. I heard their stories. They made me want to tell the truth about mine, especially when you're in a room with other addicts. You're going to tell your story, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's one thing you learn in rehab, especially with the 12 steps, is being honest with other people and yourself, especially addicts. So when I went in there and I saw how bad they were, and then I looked at myself and measure myself against them, I wasn't much better. I not only had an opioid problem, I was out of control drinking alcohol. I was taking benzos, Xanax, because of anxiety about hurting my neck again. So I was a wreck when I went to rehab. And when I got out, I've been almost 4 years clean now.
Well, no doubt. I mean, 65 extra strength Vicodin a day. I mean, I don't even, how were you even standing? I don't even know how you could. Oh my!
You just build up a tolerance, don't you?
Xanax, yeah. I was also taking, I got really bad. I was also taking Soma, Xanax. I was taking everything for whatever I needed it for, whether it was my neck, my knee. If I wasn't sleeping, I'd take Soma. If I was having anxiety, I'd take Xanax. And I just started mixing it and making cocktails, and they were really dangerous. And I knew when I was in rehab, I didn't want to go back to that. And I promised myself I wouldn't. It's the one thing you have to do is be honest with yourself when you're in there, and you got to make that commitment. And I did. And I'm very blessed. I thank God every day that I don't have the triggers that a lot of addicts do. I've been so focused on my wrestling career and staying clean and my family that I don't ever want to go back to that. So I'm very confident I won't, but I always keep my guard up.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with 5 kids, you don't really have much time to do anything at all.
Yeah, they
keep you busy.
They keep me really busy. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I think it was a Twitter picture. I think it was of you that you were taking your daughter to something. You had your little tiara on. She had her tiara, and you had one on. Yeah. That was amazing. That was a great picture.
Yeah. I have fun with them. I have 4 girls and a boy. My older daughter and my son do not live with me. They come up and visit about 6 or 7 times a year. My 3 little ones, I spend all day long with them. So, I can get rather goofy with them, and I actually enjoy it.
That's great.
That's great. Well, actually, before we get into any of the listener questions, I do want to let everyone know, once the AngleStrong app is up, here's how you're going to do this. You're just going to go to the Android App Store, Google Play Store, Apple App Store, whatever you want to do. Search for AngleStrong, select the AngleStrong logo, click install. When you're done downloading, open the app and click sign up. You want to enter the information with the code STRONG. That's STRONG, strong. Open that app. Be on your way to recovery with Kurt Angle. Kurt, man, I love this app.
Good job.
I do love it, man.
Thank you.
So I feel like we have like a ton of questions for you. And like I say, we're going to hold off for that last one. But one that I really did love, I found this to be true, after hearing all this, and we all know about Kurt Angle, the wrestler, and we heard so much about you. But we did have a question from Ken Yasser, and he says, I would love a Kurt Angle autobiography. Any plans for a book, Kurt?
Yeah, I do have plans for a book. I've actually been working on one. It's to add to the last one. The last one I did was in WWE. It was my first year in WWE, so it didn't really cover a lot of my pro wrestling career. It was more about my Olympic career and growing up. But the one thing I did want to do is write about my struggles with addiction and also write about my pro wrestling career. So I'd say the book will probably come out in the next 1.5 to 2 years. I've been working with it with an author, and we're getting close to being finished. But we want to make sure it's perfect. So we're taking our time, and we're making sure it is what we want it to be.
And I get the very first autographed copy. That's correct, right there.
Well, hey, I actually read the first one. I thought it was pretty good. I loved all the stories that were in there, especially the one about somebody snatched your gold medal at one of the shows, and Vince actually offered a reward to get it back. And I thought that was pretty courageous. But I was actually really surprised. I was really surprised to hear you actually had the real one with you. So
Vince McMahon wanted me to bring it on the road. But the great thing about Vince was once it was stolen, it was recovered. He made three mock ones so that we had them at the shows. So after that, I didn't have to worry. When I first started, I wore a bunch of medals that were from my childhood. They weren't really Olympic gold. But later on, I started wearing the real one with the green, the neck, ribbon. It's a green ribbon. So that was my real Olympic gold medal. And then Vince made 3 mocks so that I didn't have to bring them anymore. And believe it or not, those mock-ups were $3,000 each.
Oh, wow.
That's how expensive it is to make a fake gold medal. Isn't that crazy?
That is insane. Let's see here. Let me go with we'll go with Terry Cecil. He says, when you were taking part of the Attitude Era, Attitude Era. Did WCW ever try to sign you away? That's a good question.
Yes, not sign me away, but before I signed with WWE, I did speak with Ric Flair, and he told me flat out, he said, "You don't want to come here. They're going to ruin your career. Go to WWE, let Vince McMahon mold you into the star that you deserve to be." And I listened to Rick, and I didn't know Rick at the time. It was, he knew I won the Olympics, and I was at a gym down in North Carolina, one of his gyms. It was a Gold's Gym, and he sat down and talked to me for about a half hour. Nicest guy in the world. And he told me to stick with the WWE, go there and make a name for yourself. And he was absolutely right. WCW went out of business, I think, the first year I started. So he was right.
He is just someone that I would love to get on the show. Oh my goodness, he is so amazing. He's incredible. Is he like? I mean, obviously he's a showmanship. He's got the whole showmanship thing. But I mean, cameras are off. You're talking to him. Is he still wound, or is he just normal guy?
He's the same.
Yeah, he just seems like he would be.
He never. Yeah, he thinks he's performing all the time.
Oh, wow.
That is Rick.
Styling and profiling until the last.
That's right. He'll do it the day he dies. He loves that. It's not even a gimmick. That's the real Ric Flair.
Wow. Chad Hudson. He wants to know, as far as Reigns has gone like a lead balloon. He thinks, Roman Reigns has gone over like a lead balloon. He wants to know if you think it was for bad booking, or what do you think your opinion is as far as how he could turn it around? And of course, he said, "P.S. You're awesome."
Well, Roman Reigns, for one, Roman Reigns is talented. I don't care what anyone says.
I agree.
You can't deny that the kid knows how to work. I believe what happened to him was that they didn't have him go through the ringer. They didn't have him win the European title, or I should say the Intercontinental title, U.S. title, King of the Ring. They just threw him up there right away, and the fans don't like that. They want you to earn your keep. If any wrestler has ever done that, I don't know of one, but it seemed like that they were really trying to push Roman faster than he should have been pushed. I think that he will earn the respect of fans. It's going to take a little bit more time, but him winning that U.S. title definitely helps. So him holding the title right now, I think that fans will be more acceptable. But let's not pretend that there are fans that don't like him. Just like John Cena, there are fans that didn't like John Cena either.
Right.
So you have to, for Vince McMahon, it's not a difficult choice. You keep Roman Reigns in the picture, and you just continue to push him. And eventually, someday, it won't be the half and half, 50 and 50, 50 that like and 50 that don't. Eventually, it'll go up where it's 60, 70%. You're not always going to get fans that like, I don't know anybody that every fan likes. So what I'm saying, unless maybe you're the Undertaker, but
yeah.
You're going to have people that don't like you. I have people that hated my guts, and they have more respect for me now, knowing who I am and what I was able to accomplish when I started, because I was a heel most of my career in WWE, and they hated me for that. But then when they were watching film of me or watching the WWE Network, they were like, "Man, I appreciate what you did. Like you were really good at that, Yes. So it was like, it's like now they like me more for what I did as a heel than when I was a babyface. So, I actually, that's a huge compliment. So obviously I was doing my job right. And, at the time people were hating me, but they appreciated it later on and said, "Man, me hating your guts, made me want to watch even more, and it inspired me. And now I appreciate what you did for us." So it's kind of cool to hear those kind of compliments.
I'm up in the air on that one. I don't know. I truly loved you when you first came in and were, you just had that.
Well, you have to love the heels to love me.
I know, right?
You're funny.
But I think
you were hilarious.
It's that gray area, though.
It is.
Because Stone Cold Steve Austin had the same. They wanted him to be a heel, but no matter how hard they tried, he just kept
as much
popping.
As The Rock did it. Rock was the same way, right? Yep.
And
yeah, they both started out as heels, and Austin taught me a lot. That guy, he was the best improviser I ever got in the ring with. He could cut a promo without having anything prepared, and it could go 20 minutes and he'd be entertaining as hell. He was just so funny and entertaining, but he could also back it up in the ring. Austin is the most underappreciated wrestler because his character was so strong.
Right.
People loved the character. they didn't know that he actually was one of the best wrestlers. I learned so much from him. He was, well, we didn't have to put matches together. He'd just tell me what to do the whole time. So, I never had anybody do that the whole entire match. And, Austin, for 80% of it, Austin, you know, we'd have the finish plan, you know, or the comeback in the finish plan, but the rest of it, Austin would just guide me through. Cause back then I was only in the business a year and a half when I was wrestling. I was main event with Austin. I didn't even know what I was doing. So I needed someone like him, and he really helped me a lot.
No, he has nice. I listened to his podcast, and I actually listened to the interview you did with him recently. Fantastic. Right. He had nothing but nice things to say about you as well, and the fact that you were such a big ribber too. Practically, practical jokes, and they had just talked about that recently, and I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, Austin, he's a joker, man. He's incredible, though. I love the guy.
Was there one wrestler that you really loved to wrestle more than anyone else? I mean, did you have that one person that just you clicked with more than anyone else?
Benoit.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you watch those matches, you're not going to see matches like that anymore. Chris and I we had an intensity that was unmatched. And when we got together, it wasn't like we were trying to out-intensify each other. It just clicked. The wrestling clicked. It wasn't just the spots, the false finishes and stuff. It was from beginning to end. I mean, the match was just nonstop action, incredible wrestling, submission trade-off. It just had everything you wanted all in one. It was, you know, especially the match I had with him in 2003 at the Royal Rumble for the WWE title. If you've never seen that match, watch it. If you can't tell me that that's not one of the top 3 greatest matches of all time, then you're nuts. And I give the credit to Benoit for that, not even me, because I structured the match. He was able to match the intensity and be able to do the trade-offs with me. So me calling the match and structuring it, and Chris Benoit being able to stay with me and keep going, and me being an Olympic gold medalist, we were doing takedowns, and he was able to counter. And he never wrestled a day in his life, not amateur wrestling. So, he was a special talent, and, I'll never forget the matches I had with him. I also loved Eddie Guerrero, you know, definitely Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Rock, Austin. They were all great. I mean, I was really blessed to have a lot of talent to work with, especially my first couple of years when I didn't know what I was doing.
I think my biggest regret is never seeing you and Brett. And you know, the funny part is every time I hear an interview with him, he mentions the same thing. You were the one person he regrets never getting in the squared circle with.
Well, I called him in 2003 or 4, and I said, "Listen, you don't have to take a bump. Let me do the whole match. I'll do the bumping and feeding. You just stay in there and let's have a great match." He didn't want to do it, and I understand now. He couldn't have. After he had that stroke and he got kicked by Goldberg or whatever happened to, you know, his head brain injury, he knew he couldn't have the Bret Hart Kurt Angle match he wanted, so he wasn't willing to do it. And I get it, because me, you know, I'm approaching 50. I can still go, but you know, 10 years from now, if Seth Rollins came to me and said, "Hey, let's do this match. I'll do all the bumping. Don't worry about it," and I'm thinking it's not going to be that good because I can't stay with him. So, you know, I understand how Brett felt at the time. And it hurt my feelings a little bit because 2 years later he wrestled Vince. But
I'm pretty sure that check was pretty good.
So, so, you know, Bret Hart and Vince McMahon in a street fight, that isn't literally a wrestling match. So I understand why Brett did it, but it hurt my feelings a little bit at first, but then I understood why he did it.
Before we get into this last question, I know we've taken up more time than we were supposed to, but I got to ask. I need to know what your opinion is. The latest match with Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. I feel like everybody was really, they were cheering on Goldberg. I felt like it was a letdown. I felt like they have built Brock Lesnar up to this beast, and to have him taken out so easily. I don't know. I'm a big Brock Lesnar fan, and I just can't accept that it was that easy. I know they're trying to build it up, but it kind of, to me, it belittles all the people he's beaten since then. It makes it look like he was so easy. Do you agree with the match? Or?
You know what? I look at it this way. It could have been a 12, 15-minute match, but I think that they also have to understand, and I think the fans have to understand this. Goldberg hasn't been around for 12, 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
They don't know if he's capable of going 15 minutes, and not that Goldberg can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he can, but they weren't sure, and the biggest bang for the buck is to go with what the old Goldberg used to do. And what the old Goldberg used to do, 2 minutes every match. So I get why they did it. I just think that maybe Brock wasn't the right person. But it was a shocker. And that's always a good thing. I just don't think that anybody could do that to Brock.
No.
Especially a healthy Brock Lesnar. It's, so I understand. I can see both sides. I think it's a big letdown there where the match was 1.5 minutes. But, it was Goldberg, and that's what he did. And that's how he became a big name, is having 90-second, 120-second matches.
Yeah.
And that's what the WWE produced, was a 2-minute match from Goldberg, just like the old days. And I think that a lot of fans don't remember, or there are new fans today that never saw that. They obviously can watch it in the WWE network and everything, but I think that they were trying to educate people on how the old Goldberg was by doing what he did to Brock.
Sure. Building up another match for a comeback. Sure. We'll see how that goes. And obviously the one question everybody wants to know.
Because Zach, we'll get like 100. We got 100 and some odd questions. This is no lacquer. We got like over 100 and some odd questions just for you. Okay, just for you about wrestling, about everything. Okay, but over what was it, Zach? Probably 60 of them were this question. Go ahead, Zach. Do it.
So, what's your favorite burger? Burger King every time? No, it's gonna. No, WWE. Are we going to see it? Are you coming back?
You know what? Okay, I won't say this. We talked last year, at the beginning of last year, and I spoke with WWE, and there was interest on both sides. And they told me that they would, get a hold of me when the time was right. I haven't heard anything. Every year around the Royal Rumble, the rumors start flying, and you hear the Goldbergs and the Kurt Angles and whoever else is that are coming out of the woodwork. They have not called me. The whole reason this rumor got started is because I told a couple promoters that I did not want to book after April, because if I did and WWE did bring me back, if they did, then I'd have to cancel. And that's not fair to the fans. And that's not fair to the promoters. For them to promote me for 4 or 5 months that I'm coming, and then at the last second I cancel, that's not fair to anybody. But that's how WWE does things. So, if they do call me back, I don't know when, and I don't know if they are if it's definite. They just said they had interest and they would get back to me. They haven't. So, I do want to put the rumors to rest. I am not returning for the Rumble. I'm not returning for WrestleMania. I don't know if I'm going to return, but I've had a great career and I'm happy with it. I only wanted to do this. The only reason I reached out to WWE to even have my career end there is for the fans. I'm not doing it for me. I have the money I want. Mm-hmm. I had the career I wanted. I just wanted to say thank you, especially to the WWE Universe fans that, a lot of them don't watch the other companies. So the last 11 years, they haven't seen me wrestle. And I've actually had a better career the last 11 years than my first 7 years at WWE. But unfortunately, a lot of those fans never saw it. So I just want to go back and say thank you. If that doesn't happen, I'm okay with it. A lot of people say, well, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Well, that's not a guarantee. And the only Hall of Fame that I desired to be in was the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, the real Wrestling Hall of Fame, the Olympic Wrestling. Mm-hmm. And I got that. If I do get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame someday, I'll be happy. Would it kill me not to? No. But pro wrestling is very important to me. Don't get me wrong. It's almost as important to me as Olympic wrestling was. So it would be a very nice privilege to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. But I'm very happy with my career, whether I go forward or not. Can I still go? Yeah. I can still put myself in there as one of the top 5 best today at 48 years old.
I just watched that match you did with that match you did with AJ Styles, yeah, or Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, AJ. Boy, I'd love to go one more round with him. Man, we had some fun. Yeah,
but yeah.
Well, I can speak on behalf of every single person, every fan out there. We hope that you do come back. No doubt about that. We definitely hope that you come back. Vince, get on the phone with this man because he's absolutely one of
them. Triple H.
Yeah, Triple H, Vince, whoever. Stephanie, I don't care.
All right. If they did call me and I was going back, do you really think I would tell you?
Nope.
They wouldn't.
Well, trust me, that's what we were saying. That's like, what's the chances he's going to say it right here, right now, and it would kill it? If he was going to make a surprise appearance, of course he's not going to tell us. So we'll just leave it hanging from everybody, even though he said he's not going to be in the Rumble.
I will say, I'm being honest. I was completely honest about what I just said about everything. But if they did call me, which they haven't yet, I really wouldn't be able to tell anybody.
Oh, we get that.
Honestly, Kurt, I just thought the last 45 minutes that you and I had this decent relationship that you would tell me. And
just us and the few people that might hear this.
It's not that big of a deal.
No. All right. Well, you know what? When we get off the podcast, I'll tell
you. No, but here, hey, honestly, man, like I say, we do hope that you come back. But look, number one, stay clean, stay healthy. You are an amazing person. I absolutely positively love everything that you're doing with this app. The app comes out January 15th, AngleStrong.com next week, correct, Kurt? Next week? Going live?
Sir. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
Excellent. Hey, man, we greatly appreciate it. We've probably taken way too much of your time, so we greatly appreciate you coming on the show.
I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you take care, and hopefully we'll see you in the WWE or any wrestling independent circuit. I don't care. I just want to see you again, man. Hopefully we'll see you this coming year. Absolutely. You take care, man.
All right.
Thank you, Kurt.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
Well, that was Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I loved how he said
you heard it. He's coming back. Well, no, look at the promoters. Well, that's the thing. So I've been listening to the news, and you hear all the promoters saying that he could, he's not booking dates past his date, so obviously he's coming back to WWE, and he's actually saying this. Why would he sabotage himself like that if he was coming back? Obviously, like you said, he's not going to just throw it out there. So I would love to see number one. I want to see WWE come out with a DVD pack like they did for Bret Hart, the best of matches. But you won't see the best of matches if you can't add the TNA stuff into it with them.
It was just so amazing. I mean, I think you even touched on it at the very beginning. He really was one of the top 3. I love that guy. And it wasn't just about the wrestling, because we all knew he could wrestle. We all knew he was a fantastic wrestler, but when he was coming out, and obviously, it's true. He just, oh my goodness, he was
oh yeah, you can sit here and pick people's careers apart, and
you
can take somebody like they said that Ric Flair suggested he'd stay with the WWE. There's only so far they can take you. You have to take yourself the rest of the way, and you could tell when Kurt started that he just had that extra something, and he took it, and he made himself a star. So I have no complaints. Every match I've ever seen with him in it was fantastic. I mean, there's some matches you watch, you'll forward through them, or you just stop watching, or that'll be the bathroom break. But it was never Kurt Angle's match. Trust me, it was never his match. John Cena, the first live, one of the house shows I went and saw, he had a match with John Cena. And then at the end of the show, I think I told you about this. When they went off the air, him and Kurt went at it for like another 20 minutes, for the people in the stadium, and I always thought that was fantastic. So I really hope we do
something really cool with those WWE house shows. Did you notice that? Like, it was always after the, or whether it was a Raw or SmackDown or whatever. I can honestly say one of my biggest memories was I went to a SmackDown in Baltimore, and Triple H did the same thing. He broke character and kind of started talking to the audience, and it just made it so much more fun, because you had Triple H coming out, and he was the ultimate heel at one point. Nobody hated Triple H. I mean, nobody liked Triple H. Everybody hated him. He's such a jerk, and he would come down, and he actually won the match, and he beat the babyface at that time. The babyface walks out, and he's standing there, and he's screaming, he's hollering, he's doing his little thing. Next thing you know, the music goes off and he grabs the mic, the cameras were off, and he just starts talking to everyone like a normal person, and that's, if you've never been to a WWE show, you gotta go. I mean, it really, whether it's a house show, whether it's
I've been to some pay-per-views, I've been to some house shows, way back, even when Yokozuna, I've seen a bunch of the big ones. I remember way back, I saw Andre the Giant, Big John Studd at a house show back at Hershey Park. I've seen quite a few shows at Hershey Park, all from that show to an In Your House when they were WWF, and then I saw a couple of WWE shows there. There's nothing like it. If you go to a wrestling event, there's nothing like going to a WWE show. They pull all the stops out, so they have great sound. They put on a great show, and they really put everything out there for you. So it's definitely something to go see.
I agree.
So, but man, I think we, for the first time this year, putting out a really good show. I mean, I think the fans it will be great to hear this one coming out. So I'm really was happy I got a chance to talk to Kurt Angle, one of my favorite wrestlers.
Absolutely. So, there's those times where you do the show and you're doing it for fun, and then there's those times where you kind of nerd out, you kind of geek out, and you get that point where you're like, oh my God, I'm actually talking to Kurt Angle. Those are the things that make things fun about doing the show here. Obviously, we're very active on Twitter and Facebook. We try to get as many questions, and I apologize for not. We had, like I was saying before, we had over 100 and some odd questions. It was impossible to get them all. It just simply was. Kirk told us we had about maybe 20 or 30 minutes with him. I think we ended up going
45,
40 something. Sorry, Kirk, but we tried to get as much. So yeah, I think, like I say, we were kind of nerding out a little bit there. But look, there's only so many apologies I can have. But at the end of the day, I'm not sorry, Kirk. I'm not sorry, man.
No, he was very giving of his time, and I appreciate that. So, just so if anybody wants to, you can find him on Facebook. You can also find him on Twitter at The Real Kurt Angle. I think, is it The Real Kurt Angle?
Real Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
That's right.
Real
Kurt Angle.
Yeah, exactly. He's always posting Q&A sessions where he'll ask, you can throw questions out and he'll answer them. He's very active on social media. So if you think that, just the AngleStrong app is the only way that anybody would get to talk to him, that's not true. He's very open with his time with his fans. And even if we don't see him in WWE anymore, I don't think you won't get a chance to see him wrestle. Maybe he'll go out and do some more indie shows. But like you said, he's kind of leaving himself out there in case something happens. So I personally hope that happens, because he's going to get more, more people are going to see him with WWE, obviously, since they are basically the NFL of wrestling. So
of course, yeah. And I mean, like he was talking, the app comes out January 15th. The AngleStrong.com comes out next week, and look, all this for $1 a day. And like he said, it does seem a little expensive, but it's not. I mean, for your health, I challenge anyone for this brand new year. If you've got an addiction, you're struggling with anything, get this app. It sounds amazing. You get the chance to talk to Kurt Angle. I mean, come on,
Well, don't get addicted just for that, but why don't you go ahead and tell people how you can find us?
You can follow us. Well, I'm the Twitter guy, so whenever we're talking Twitter here, that's me. We're at Statement Show. Let's see, what else? YouTube,
Facebook, The Statement Show.
YouTube, the Statement Show. We're all over the place. If you have any questions, comments, you want to tell us how great we are.
Don't forget, thestatementshow.com.
Statement Show. Oh yeah, of course.
Our website. So subscribe to us on iTunes and leave comments. Help us out and leave some comments for the show.
Right.
More great shows coming. So.
Any question for us? thestatementshow@gmail.com. And again, like Zach said, www.thestatementshow.com.
All right. Well, that ends another episode of The Statement Show. The lights are out.
See ya. Well, now we're gonna make him wait a little bit.
He's never heard that question before.
Yeah, he's never heard that one. But before we do
the whole show, and it hurt my feelings a little bit because 2 years later he wrestled this.
I'm pretty sure that check was pretty good.
The little tiara on. She had her tiara, and you had one on. Yeah. That was amazing. That was a great thing.
Yeah. All right. If they did call me and I was going back, do you really think I would tell you?
Nope.
They would.
Well,